So you're thinking about moving to Kansas City and you want to know what you can get for $425,000, maybe $525,000 or $625,000? Well, stick around. In this video, we're going to go out in this snowstorm, show you what it's like to drive around in the snow, and go tour some houses at those price points so you can see exactly what you can get in Kansas City's Northland at those prices. We're going to start it right now. Hey, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Kansas City, even in a snowstorm, then click subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications so you can be the first to know of the current market here in the KC metro area. My name is Zach Morton. My business partner Max Jones, the Mojo team, and I have been helping people move to Kansas City for over 20 years. We get calls, texts, emails from folks just like you every single day, and we absolutely love it, but you don't have to take our words for it. See what our clients have to say with over 600 verified Google reviews from folks just like you. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, you can pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, even schedule a Zoom. All that information is in the description below. Basically just so we can chat with you about your goals and help you with that seamless transition into your new neighborhood. So without further ado, let's go start driving around and talking about the weather and go look at some real estate. Let's get going. All right, so as you can tell, it's a beautiful day here in Kansas City. So I thought I might do this. I might just try to drive around and kind of talk about the area a little bit while we're going between house to house, kill two birds with one stone. It's pretty darn cold outside and it's windy, so the mic's kind of picking up some wind noise, and I think we'll just get better audio quality if we do that. Plus, it's pretty beautiful outside right now too, so as I'm driving through some cool areas that I think are amazing, I can just spin the camera around and kind of show you what it's all about. But you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we just want to tell you how it is. If Kansas City's for you, that's great. You just need to know what you're getting into. So I thought it would be a great opportunity, even though it was snowing like cats and dogs, to take you guys out today and just kind of show you what it's all about, explain our weather a little bit. You know, because where you're coming from, we actually just had some clients in town from Texas that we met with on Friday. They were here all weekend looking at property, and I believe today's Tuesday, they went home on a Monday, so they just missed this. They were pretty excited for their kids to get to see all this snow that was predicted, but I think they missed it. But they'll be back. Once they're living here, they'll have plenty of this opportunity to build a snowman. But I want to start with today, you know, mentioned it earlier, we're in that southern Platte County area. We are north of the river in Kansas City, and we're going to follow this with a map video, so it'll make more sense if you're more of a visual person to check that out. We'll probably call it southern Platte County or north of the river. Basically, southern Platte County and Park Hill School District are, you know, basically the same areas, so you can kind of use them in the same way. So we've done vlogs on like Parkville. One of the houses we're going to see is in Parkville, which is in Park Hill School Districts. But when you take the whole county, like or the south side of Platte County, that's going to encompass, there's some parts of it that's Kansas City, there's some parts of it that's Parkville, there's Lake Nokomis, Houston Lakes, there's lots of little micro cities within that. So that's why it's just good to kind of get out of those cities that we talk about and just kind of see the whole area, because realistically, most of the people that are coming in town that we work with are families that have kids and they're after that school district. And Park Hill School District is one of those A-rated school districts. So all the houses we're looking at today are in that A-rated Park Hill School District. There's two high schools, so they're going to be in different high schools, but you know, we can talk about all that. So that's kind of how it's laid out. We are north of the river, so everything on the north side of that river is Kansas City, Missouri. And then once you go south of the river, some of that's Kansas City, Kansas, some of that's Kansas City, Missouri side. So everything we're in today and driving through is Kansas City, Missouri. And when you're up on in the Northland is what we call it. If you've watched any of the map videos, I kind of touch on that every time. It's a little more elbow room. It's not as densely populated. So people, I live in the Northland, so I hear why people like it. What they mention all the time is it's not as congested. It's not as busy. You still have all the amenities and A+ schools and all that. Maybe not as many amenities, like not as many 5 stars, restaurants, things like that, but we still have plenty of stuff up here in the Northland to keep you busy and keep you entertained. I've lived in a couple different cities, and it feels like a suburb of a city. So that's kind of the whole Northland, kind of has that suburby feel. Anyway, so we got that out of the way. We're in a decent school district, or an A-rated school district, for everything we're seeing today and everything in Southern Platte County. So if you're looking for houses, or you're looking for a search, you can type in the Park Hill School District and search that way, or you can search Platte County and find it that way, and make sure that you're finding those houses that are going to land within that school district. Right now, we are driving towards Parkville. The house that we're going to be looking at, our first one, is in Parkville. So we will be working our way there, and we also have a vlog on Parkville. So if you want to know some more details about that, where we spend time downtown, walking down the little main street and talking a little bit more about that and some of the subdivisions in Parkville that are really nice, make sure you check that out. So today I wanted to pick this snow day because we do get all 4 seasons in Kansas City. We get, summer is really hot for a couple weeks. Evenings are always great, though, that those hot days give way to nice evenings where you can be outside in shorts and a tank top and not be chilly at all, and be comfortable and be walking around. But then in the winter, here we are. This is a Tuesday. School got canceled. My kids are in the Park Hill School District, which is the area we're in right now. They actually canceled it last night. We were predicted to get 3 to 5 inches. We probably got right in between there, just depending where you're standing, of snow. And the temperature stayed right around 30 degrees. So the streets, this morning, the road crew's doing an amazing job of keeping all the main streets salted sand. We can use salt here, or we do. I know some of our mountain folks like Colorado, Oregon, no salt on the streets because they got to protect the trout and the fish and the ecosystem of those streams. Here they use salt, so it's super effective of getting the streets thawed out and safe so you can travel on them. So they do a great job, and as you can see, the streets, of course the temperatures aren't super cold right now, but the streets melted off just fine. There is no ice, it's just a little damp, and it'll probably be dry by this evening if it doesn't continue to snow anymore. They did cancel school because in the morning, that was kind of, it's coldest when it's dark right in the morning. Kids standing out the bus, so they canceled it. But now since COVID, depending on where you're from, you guys may have this too, they do these AMI days. I'm not sure what that stands for, but basically it means you can still count it as a school day in the public school system and be at home learning from home, because everybody's got a computer now. We all were online learning for a year or so anyways. I believe the Park Hill School District does 5 of those days. So we can have 5 snow days, and the kids don't have to tack on any extra days at the end of school. If it goes beyond that and they have to cancel it, then I guess those get tacked back on. But so that kind of makes sure that we hit that end of the year. You can plan vacations a little better because everybody's itching, by the last day of school to get out and enjoy summer. So if you are a kid, you may still have homework on a snow day. And snow days, man, when I was a kid growing up out here, it was better than Christmas, a snow day, especially if you knew about it the night before. They had canceled it the night before. Because you stay up late making all these plans, you're going to wake up, you're going to go shovel some driveways, make some scratch, build a bad-to-the-bone snow fort, and then you're going to order pizza with the money you made and eat it in your snow fort. And, just amazing memories as a kid. The streets are pretty good for the most part, they are, but it will be, by the end of this week, it's supposed to be down in single digits. So right now, 32, salt works great. Once you get around 0 degrees, the salt almost doesn't even really work anymore. So these damp spots on the street, once the sun goes down, once it's dark, will start to refreeze, and then our streets do get a little dangerous. Luckily, Kansas City's pretty flat, so like when I lived out in Oregon for a couple years, it was hilly and mountainous, and there was no salt, and when it gets slick, it's not like it was that big a deal driving around in the snow, but if you're going down a hill that's a mile long and you start sliding, there's cliffs and stuff out there, right? It could be dangerous. Here, it's pretty flat. Nobody's running around with chains for the most part. There'll be a couple people that'll put stud tires on for the winter. But for the most part, now I will say all-wheel drive cars are sought after. So if you have one of those or you've been wanting to get one and you're thinking about moving here, it wouldn't be a bad idea because it just gives you a little more comfort. Front-wheel drive, you're fine though. And we really only get like 4 or 5 of these days a year, so it's nothing crazy. It doesn't really affect a whole lot, but I will, maybe it does affect a little bit. Like they were predicting this snow it's not as cold, so it's heavier and wetter. And we do have a lot of power lines. As you can see, I'm in the older part of Parkville right now, big power lines, and it's heavy, and they can tend to, break if you get too much weight on it, especially ice, when ice accumulates on the power lines. This is coming and kind of warn you. So if that happens, power can go out. And my whole life, 45 years old, however old I am, I can't even remember, I think the power's probably gone out here like 24 hours for me one time. Everything else is like 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, and that probably happens, once or twice a year. It all kind of depends on your neighborhood. I'm in an older neighborhood where everything's power lines up above. A lot of the newer subdivisions, everything's buried power lines, which is great in the neighborhood, so you're not going to have any issues there. But if a tree or something falls on a power line outside of the neighborhood, of course, that's going to create an issue for your whole neighborhood. But when that happens, our biggest concern is, of course, you want to stay warm. It's pretty easy. If your house is already warm, it's going to stay warm for a few hours, so you don't have to worry about that. But if it is one of those 24-hour deals or something major where it just hits a whole section of the city, what we have to worry about because of the temperatures, like when we get down in the single digits or below zero, is you do not want your water pipes to freeze. If that happens, it won't seem like a problem until everything starts thawing out, and then you got water gushing everywhere. So what we will do if that happens, most people will still have like gas logs in their fireplace, which aren't affected by electricity. So if the power goes out, it's cold, you flip on your gas logs, and you still have a source of heat. It's fun to sit around the fire with candlelight anyway. If it's one of those extended things and that's not doing it, and you don't have another way to heat the house, what you'll do is you'll just, you go to all your water faucets. Usually the basement will be the coldest, places like the kitchen sink that's close to an outside wall, stuff like that. And you'll just open the valve on the water just enough to where it starts to, the water starts to drip out of each faucet. And as long as you do that for every faucet, it's not going to get like below zero in the house within a day if your house was at 80 degrees. But supposedly, and it's worked in my experience, that water won't freeze. That pipe won't freeze because it's got water moving through it. So you waste a little bit of water, but you didn't flood your whole house and have to rip all the subfloor and drywall out and start all over. So that's just one of those things. If you know it's coming, you're home, you just kind of prepare for it. And if it happens, those are the precautions you take. Nobody really sweats it or sits around worrying about it. There are probably, I'd say, out of every 100 homes that we sell, somebody's got a backup generator that'll run off natural gas, that'll just kick on automatically and restore power to the house like it never happened. That's always an option. You can always buy that if it's a concern of you or if you travel a lot and you don't have somebody kind of keeping an eye on your house when some crazy storm comes. All right, here we are at our first house. We are just west of downtown Parkville, and this one is coming in right at $425,000, which is the beginning of our price point. Still cold and windy out here in Kansas City. What you're gonna get here is a 5-bedroom, 4-bath with a finished basement that's gonna be a total of 2,800 square feet. So a lot of square foot. When you do the math on that, that's coming in right at $150 a square foot. And what I really love about this subdivision, there is an HOA out here. It's about $50 a month, but that's gonna, we talk about the HOA sometimes, that protects everybody from like painting their house pink and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But this neighborhood, I also believe, still has the neighborhood pool, which is nice. At $50 a month, access to the pool, and you don't have to pay to maintain it. This particular section right here, this house in Parkville, we are up on this bluff. So I am actually gonna sneak around the side. I usually don't do this just to show this to you, but super cool. They are on the bluff overlooking the river valley. This is the Missouri River right behind me. So I just wanna point out the views that you get from this house. So everybody on this street will kind of pan around, and we'll do a drive-by too with some B-roll. But everybody on the street is gonna be overlooking this river valley. This is where the train that runs through downtown Parkville laps through. And you can just see all the way to Kansas over there. That's Kansas over there on the other side. So I just wanted to showcase that. And from that deck, we'll throw up some pictures just so you can see the view and everything you have from that deck back there. But absolutely stunning views. And one of my favorite parts in Parkville is if you can get a house up on this hill that does take advantage of those beautiful views. And we are just literally probably a mile and a half, 2 miles from that little main street down in Parkville. We've done a vlog on Parkville, so if you want to check that out, see what Parkville is all about, you can certainly dive into that. We're walking down Main Street. But that is where we're at. $150 a square foot, finished walkout basement, ready to go. So pretty sweet, right here in the Southern Platte County, Park Hill School District area, and what you can get for $425. So let's go on and check out house number 2, shall we? All right, so here we are at our second house. This is coming in at $525, so just up a little bit of a notch. And what you're gonna get, we are brand new construction here. This one is, like I said, $525. You're right at 3,000 square feet. It was built in 2002. 3,000 finished square feet. This is a 2-story, which means all the bedrooms are going to be up on that top level. So you just walk in on the main and that should be all. But however, this one has a guest bedroom on the main level, which is kind of unique. Some people use that for an office. Some people will use that for a guest bedroom. And you could even, we have families now that are starting to commingle as their older parents. Maybe they don't want to send them to a nursing home. So it could be used as that as well. We're seeing more and more of that on some of these new builds with an option to put the folks somewhere. So what else can I tell you about this? 3,000 square feet. There is an unfinished basement with this. It's coming in just over 1,000 square feet. And this is a walkout. So depending if you're coming from, you know, like I know my Florida, my Texas people don't have a lot of basements down there. Basements, you can have a walkout basement. That means daylight. There's a door on the back, windows, floor to ceiling, and you can walk right out to your backyard. You also have basements that aren't daylight, and that's where everything's underground. But what's nice about that is you walk out your main level and you're right on your backyard. With a house like this, you have to walk out, you have a deck right off that kitchen. So it's still kind of nice. It gives you 2 entertaining levels. I actually prefer a walkout. They're actually, they cost a little bit more money too. So people tend to appreciate the walkouts over like the ranch or the basement without it. So this one's unfinished. There's that little tax hack that we talk about sometimes. It says, you know, if you buy this house and then finish the basement after the purchase, and you can even hire the builder, usually will come back and do that for you if you work out a deal with them. You don't have to pay taxes on that finished property because nobody knows it's finished until you go to sell it again and it gets reassessed. So that's kind of sweet there, but all new. As you can see, we'll flash some photos up. All solid surfaces, granite, hardwoods, white kitchen cabinets. There's a cool little coffee bar in the pantry that they've kind of tucked away. There is the space over the garage that could be finished for another 5th bedroom, kind of a loft area. And then the basement is stubbed for a full bath and 2 extra bedrooms if you wanted to finish it out in that fashion. It's what we see most people doing. Instead of going ham on the bedrooms, it's just making it like a nice entertainment. Throw a big TV up. That's where all your parties and entertaining goes. Full bath, and then that way nobody's messing with your living space, right? You keep that nice and clean and go down there and party and destroy the basement, or throw the kids down there and let them do that. This is, so with that price and that square footage, we're coming in right at $178 a square foot, which is pretty sweet compared to some of the other areas that we talked about. And then lastly, I'll just mention that there is an HOA out here. It's about $115 a year, so fairly nominal. HOAs can be nice, especially on that cheap end. It keeps people from painting the houses pink in the neighborhood or doing something totally wacky, or like parking a bus on the street and leaving it there for 10 years. So, which helps protect property value. So I really don't mind HOAs, even though sometimes it's frustrating to make that payment, especially in some of the more expensive neighborhoods. But whoo, got that wind kicking up. Talk about that Kansas City weather. They say if you don't like the weather in Kansas City, just wait till tomorrow because it'll change that fast. So anyway, house number 2, let's go check out house number 3. All right, here we are at our 3rd house, and I may have lied a little bit, not 625, this is 650, but we're close, we're in the ballpark. We are in Thousand Oaks subdivision, which is an amazing subdivision on the kind of the west side of Southern Platte County in the Park Hill School District where we're standing. What I have behind me is a brand new house built in 2002, new construction. It is 3,100 square feet. The wind's whipping out here. Still, the snow's starting to pick back up again. This is a reverse story and a half. So what that's gonna mean, everything's on your main level with the master bedroom, master suite, your garages, kitchen, everything's up there. Downstairs, which is a walkout basement, you're gonna have the other bedrooms and bathrooms. So it's set up to where all your guests and entertaining can be down. Everything you need is on that main level. And which is kind of a nice setup. You don't need to go upstairs for stuff. It keeps it a little bit smaller, a little more energy efficient. This puts this price point with that square footage, you're right at $210 a square foot for new construction here. But this is a really cool subdivision. Thousand Oaks does have an HOA, it's about $900 a year. It's gonna get you access to several pools. There's walking trails, parks, the amenities are really cool, but I can tell you what, the people here really take advantage of it. Every time that I'm out here for like swim meets or meeting with friends, we've got clients. Friend of mine, Gene, he had just 2 years ago built a new house just around the corner. Hi, Gene, if you're watching. So just a great spot. I do spend a lot of time out here with clients and friends because it's a sought after neighborhood. It's absolutely massive. So if you pull up Thousand Oaks on the map, you can see it's had several phases. There's ponds and lakes, and they're just continuing to go. And some of these homes are going to even have views kind of like that first house we saw over the Parkville River Valley. So it's just kind of a cool spot. We're a little further west of Parkville, but still close. That's going to be your main spot for like entertainment and stuff. And then on the other side, on the west side of Thousand Oaks, there's the intersection of 435 and 45 highway, and that's beginning to explode with a lot of restaurants and some nightlife. So we're seeing a lot of growth over there as well. So anyway, really cool area, really cool subdivision. Let's go ahead and do a little spin. This is one of the newer phases. Thousand Oaks has been around for a while. But inside, well, let me flash some pictures up of what we have on the house. Inside, it's absolutely beautiful, new construction, you know, nice and white, finished basements, solid countertops, wood floors, all that kind of stuff you expect. And right at 650, so that's what you can get. We're in a cul-de-sac, super cool. So I think that kind of sums up this house. Plenty of dining around here. There is a couple 5-star, but I'd say more or less you're in that 3 to 5 star. If you're familiar with like a 54th Street restaurant, bar and grill, there's a lot of that right around this area. There's some mom and pop places. There is some stuff that's a little schwankier than that. Plenty of stuff to do, like Top Golf, those outdoor, you know, there's golf courses, driving ranges, swimming pools, all that fun stuff. Worlds of Fun and Oceans of Fun is north of the river. We talk about that too, which is our theme park. So there's lots of stuff to do that's right around this area in the Northland where you don't have to dip down into the city or go south into like Johnson County, where some of the more dense, more expensive, but really nice areas of Kansas City on the Kansas side are. There's pretty much everything you need up here. And we have the airport in the Northland, which is also sweet. If you travel or like to travel, it's nice to be 15 minutes away from the airport. So that is, I think, a pretty good rundown of kind of what we got going on, kind of how the school systems work with the snow days and all that. And like I said, I just wanted to take advantage to show you some foul weather, tell you how we deal with it out here, and just let you know what to expect. This is 4 or 5 times a year that this happens. Most everybody now can work from home on these snow days and will, but if you can't, it's usually late start kind of stuff where people expect, don't get out there and try to kill yourself. Let the road crews get up, do their job, come in a little late, hit your job. But if you're a doctor or a nurse and you got to be there, they do a great job on the main streets. Getting out of your neighborhood is probably the biggest issue, but it's pretty flat. Just take your time. All-wheel drive is amazing to get around in this stuff, but if you take your time and go slow, there's unless it's a sheet of ice out there, which can happen, and you'll know about it if it does, it's pretty easy to get around on the Kansas City roads. Well, hey, I think we pretty much hit a bunch of stuff that people ask me about from time to time, and we'll get some B footage. I'll just kind of drive around, show you some cool shots of the snow. It's beautiful out. And as always, really appreciate you guys watching these videos, leaving comments, asking questions. It's always great to meet our fans when you guys come into town. So look forward to seeing you. Hey, in the meantime, if you have any questions or need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. All our contact information's there. But when you're ready, we'll be ready to help you find your new neighborhood and get you settled into Kansas City. So see you on the next one. Thanks.